quicker you all accept it, the easier your life will be.
No, no, no! Oh my God! After everything we just concede from a throw-in!
Well done. Oh my God, they're one-on-one. Oh my God, it's game over.
Ya Allah, Ya Rabbi, what is happening to this team? What is happening to this team? What?
How can I stop the rain? It's never ending. How do I keep my soul believing? Memories of how it should be keep calling. What about love? What about feeling? What about all the things that make life worth living?
Arsenal winning the league, chat. 1-0 Crystal Palace. This is the common nonsense goal we concede every game. Arsenal winning the league. Khalas, I accepted it for me. We just conceded a dumbass goal, man.
I'll take the river's rise. I'll take the happy times. I'll take the moments of disaster.
Welcome to the watch along, guys.
Fede! 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 Already we've conceded, man. I just said deal with the long throw easy. How is it so easy to have a chance against us? Yeah, man, we've conceded already in the 5th minute.
But I'm negative for complaining about the lineup, right?
Ha ha ha. We're doing, what are we doing, Maguire? And we... Team, what is happening to this team? What is actually happening to this team? One pass, just all it takes is one pass and they're one-on-one. How is it so...
Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Wednesday afternoon and it's becoming a habit that we get to cook Husam, Sam, I should say, every single Wednesday. 4 league defeats on the bounce. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Every Wednesday I come here, I get abused. It's a very toxic relationship with Football Terrace. I get abused on this channel every week. But regardless, big up to all of you guys. And yeah, like and subscribe, guys.
Honestly, and that's one of my favorite songs as well, sung by my favorite singer, Lamar. And it just fits so well. It just fits so well. But how are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Like shit? How else am I supposed to feel? I feel like crap right now. Liverpool Football Club have been absolutely pathetic. And it's not getting any better anytime soon. So shit is hitting the fan completely, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, I don't see us getting out of this mess unless there is massive changes made by the coaching staff, by the manager, by everyone who is a decision maker at Liverpool Football Club, because it's just not good right now, man. It's not just not
you've got a chance tonight. There's a chance tonight. You're playing Crystal Palace, and I did hear a rumor though from a few of the big. I didn't hear a rumor. I read a rumor from some of the big Palace accounts who are saying that it could be a weak team you play tonight.
Oh, like that makes any difference? What was Galatasaray a strong team? Was Chelsea with Achimpong and Badiashile a strong team? Was any of these guys a strong team? I mean, that's that.
As long as they don't change the tactics.
Was
it's
Man
fine
United
for
a strong
Arne
team?
Slot. It's just as
None of
long
these
as
guys
they
are
don't
strong
change
teams.
Yeah,
the
slot's okay. Slot's okay unless Mateta doesn't start. And, oh no!
Yes,
What am I going to do?
I'm prepared for Mateta to start. I'm prepared for La Croata. Oh, Gay is not starting. Oh, I can't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Bro, he's turning into a clown, bro. This guy, bro. He's turning into a clown, bro. You know, Ten Hag. I swear to God, it's Ten Hag 2.0 in terms of like press conferences. He's losing it, bro. I showed Husam what he said on being Sports. He's complaining about referees. Husam even didn't believe it because Husam watched the other interview. He didn't watch the Bein Sports interview. You know, Arne Slot, when he's interviewed with Sky Sports, he was kind of like a little bit more composed. So he went to Bein Sports in the Middle East, and and they asked him about the referees, and he's like complained, it's not going our way now. They're giving free fouls for the others. They're not giving us Gakpo penalty is supposed to be penalty. The other one is more soft. They're giving calls against us, and I'm like, bro, you didn't say that on Sky Sports. Why are you saying it on Bein Sports when you asked about the same situation? I think he's losing it, bro. I think he's feeling the pressure. I'm not sure if you guys did shit. I'm not sure if Sam did this, but the rumor as well that I read yesterday, which is from some big accounts from Liverpool as well, that they stopped actually the contract talks with Arne Slot. So he's under pressure. I think he actually signed only a 2-year contract. So Liverpool might get a new manager.
I still think that's turning. In terms of the weekend, Husam.
Yeah.
In terms of the weekend, so I'm eating a yogurt while I'm talking. I went gym and I'm just clucking for food. In terms of the weekend, when you look back on it now, what are you saying about why is it not improving? Is this still? Are you still in the mindset that this is purely tactical?
yeah, 100%. I think everything that's happening every week is proving my point further and further. Like, there is no way that all these players are all of a sudden crap. I mean, we sat here and we spoke about Liverpool's firepower in the summer and everything that we have, and like, it's almost like every goal we score is like based on individual brilliance. There is nothing we do that's really sustainable out there on the football pitch. Buzzword for the Arsenal fans in the chat. I'm sure they'll love it. But nothing we do is sustainable right now on the football pitch, unfortunately. We aren't doing stuff that is coherent for us winning games week in, week out. There is a massive issue right now at Liverpool Football Club, and it's genuinely on the manager to fix it. Because, look, with all due respect, and this is a rule, this, by the way, this applies to everyone. Me and Mo are in complete agreement when it comes to this specific point. Terry, I don't know your opinion, so I'm only going to assume that you most likely will agree with me. Is just a rule of thumb for any football club. When there is 8-9 outfield players all performing like crap, by definition, legitimately by definition, it cannot be every single individual's fault. Because you can sit here and can go like, this guy should have scored. Big up to my guy Stratford Post. This guy should have scored a goal. That guy should have scored a goal. Oh my God, we had a chance here. We had a chance there. Yeah, the problem is the chances we're conceding though. Like, we sit here and go like, Arsenal have conceded 3 goals in 9 games. Okay, Liverpool conceded 3 goals against Brentford alone. How many big chances have Arsenal conceded all season? What, 5? We conceded 18 big chances in 3 games. We've conceded 18 in the last 3 games. Not from the start of the season. In the last 3, we conceded 18 big chances.
But I thought you said that attack is more important.
And go like, oh my God, Salah should have scored this chance. Isak should have scored this. Ekitike should have scored that. Okay, no problem. But the opposition should have scored their 7 goals as well. Like, we're sat here, we're ignoring the whole conversation. Crystal Palace away from home in the first half, we could have been 7-0 down. It could have been bye-bye, goodbye, see you later within 45 minutes. So like this whole thing of like, we should have scored. Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that the way that we're creating chances is almost strictly through individual brilliance. We bought Kerkez, who's of an overlapping fullback, and we're talking football here. We bought Kerkez, who's an overlapping fullback, and we're basically playing him left center back. We completely vacate our midfield. We build up our build-up play from the back is in a 3-1 instead of it being in a 3-2. There is no real person sitting in front of the team. When we're attacking with 3 10s at the same time. We buy Florian Wirtz, but we don't even give him the correct spaces to occupy, because Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones are also high up the pitch because of managerial instructions. Ekitike and Salah are hugging each other. Gakpo is isolated offensively and Kerkez is isolated defensively. There is so much wrong on the football pitch. And all Arne Slot does is just complain about long balls. Habibi, my mother knew that Brentford are going to use long balls. My mother doesn't watch football. She knew this. Yani, what you expect Brentford to play sexy football against us so they can get abused 5-0 on the counter-attack? We knew about it. It's going to be long throw. It's going to be corner kicks, blah, blah, blah. And that first long throw against Brentford, I come back to it. If I take Mo to coach Brentford, he could have coached that throw-in. It's the most easy throw-in in history.
Yeah.
Long throw, Ayer wins the header, lay off to the back post. It wasn't like some elite, I'm going to make 3-4 dummy runs. I'm going to confuse the defense. It was the most basic throw. Coyote onto Ayer, lay off header, goal. Like we're conceding the most basic bitch goals right now, and it needs to change soon. It really does need to change soon.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to score a little bit of a point here. It's all about the defensive structure first that actually put you in the right platform to win games. When Man United defense improve, Man United improve. When City defense improve, City offensive will score some goals. You don't have to go all out attack. Me and Husam had this discussion all summer here actually on the Football Terrace as well, on our channels as well, about the approach for games. What is the right balance? And Liverpool completely now have zero balance in terms of approaching games. All out attack, Dutch football, let's all attack together. And I kept saying that, Mikel Arteta, and I'm bringing this to Arsenal and the reason why I'm bringing this to Arsenal, because people say that Arsenal is the best defensive team in the world currently, the best structured team defensively in the world. That puts them in a good place to win the 1-0. To actually, even if you create 1 or 2 chances in a game, you can win the games. Liverpool, which is what I've been saying, that the all-out attack thing doesn't work. It doesn't work. That is not going to work in football. So that's why when I say that the approach for games, even in the beginning of the season, when people like Husam were saying that, no, but Arteta's too cautious, Arteta's cautious. But at the end, we're sitting here. Liverpool had 5 points lead on Arsenal. Liverpool are sitting 7 points within 4 weeks. Only 4 weeks. The swing is 12 points. Why? And Arsenal might have won 1-0 here. Liverpool, by the way, during that period, I think Liverpool scored more goals than Arsenal. Scored more goals than Arsenal in that period, right? But if I'm not mistaken, I can go back and check. But Arsenal didn't concede, which is one of the most important things. Like, it doesn't matter how many goals you score, you actually should not concede chances. 18 chances in 3 games is criminal. And I think Arne Slot, I don't think he's planning to change, in my opinion. I think that is the way he wants to play football. He's a stubborn man, and I think that is what he thinks the football should be played. Attack, 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 attack. And if he doesn't fix up the defense, right, I think Liverpool are not going anywhere. They might be at risk, actually, for losing more games. In the next 3 games, after today, they play Villa, Real Madrid, and Man City. I'm staring at 3 losses if he plays the same way. 3 losses for Liverpool. If he goes all out attack, we know that Aston Villa are very resilient defensively lately. We know that they can score 1 goal. And 3 losses would be crazy, actually.
Survive until then. Because even from a business perspective, you're damaging the assets. Like, one thing about American owners, we all know this is, never fuck with an American owner's money. Never, ever, ever mess with their money, ever. Like, that's the thing. We have to keep this in mind. Like, you can't be out here just messing with their money, messing up the way that they, that they make money. That this is one thing that we like. Yes, Liverpool Football Club are a football club that always gives managers times and everything. But with all due respect, if by, like, I'd say we'd lose the next 2 games, I think it's going to be. See you later.
Do you think the sacking is getting closer? Do you think he's really close then to being sacked?
If he doesn't change his style and we continue to lose games, yes. Because even as a football club that give opportunities to managers, okay, we're 1 win in the last 5 games. If we lose tonight, 1 win in 6. We lose against Villa, 1 win in 7. We lose against Madrid, 1 win in 8. What are we like? This is, by the way, this is like a Burnley manager would get sacked for 1 win in 8. Literally, a Burnley banager would get sacked for. Yeah, big up to everyone in Jamaica as well. I know you guys are going up the Hurricanes as well, so big up. I was checking up on some of the people from Jamaica who follow me as well, so I hope you guys are safe. I know the western area is a lot more affected than the eastern area, so take some time out in the chat and pray for all your Jamaican brothers as well. So big up to them, and we wish them all safety and health. So in terms of Liverpool, look, I actually think he has the next 2 games, believe it or not. I believe if we lose to Crystal Palace and we lose to Aston Villa, club decision might be sack slot. Club decision. 1 win in 7, Terry. What are we doing here? Business perspective. You're a businessman. Business perspective. What's Florian Wirtz's market value if this continues? What's Isak market value? Imagine we want to sell Mo in the summer. Imagine, right? Saudi want to come in for him. Instead of us getting 70 million, what? We're going to get 20 million? Like, oh, we're going to take his wages off you. Mo said this. Oh, we're going to take his wages off you. But because you guys are like, because Liverpool play like shit, all of a sudden it's 20 million. So that's the thing. So you have to protect the assets. even from a business perspective, this doesn't run.
Because he
Listen,
spent a lot of money, Terry. He spent a lot of money.
They have.
I'll just say this and then I'll go on.
Go on.
Slott's future is in his own hands. He actually switches the way that we play football. I believe we can win games of football. Let's not sit up here and act like all these Liverpool players are trash. We're not. I promise you, if Slot just fixes the way that we are on the football pitch, we can win the next 4 games, including Madrid and Man City. We can actually beat both of them. If we just play the correct style, the correct way, we build up properly, we set up players to succeed, we can beat them. My issue is we aren't putting them in a position to win. His future is in his own hands. You fix up Habibi, we win. Mo always refer to the Dutch football, the total football. Great, but they didn't even win with Cruyff and Van Basten. I'm supposed to win with Gakpo? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
And I actually, I'm going to take it a step further, guys. And I'm thinking, based on his interviews, right? I don't think he's going to switch it that much as Husam like. Because I watch Don Husam on his emergency streams and all the stuff that he does. And the guys at Kopish as well. And they're like, the guys doesn't speak like, I'm going to fix it. Like when Pep Guardiola sometimes speak, he's like, yeah, we're changing. Arne Slot is not backing down. He's not saying that, yeah, I'm going to switch it. He keeps talking about chances created. By the way, we create a lot of chances. We should be winning games. But that's not what people want to hear. People don't want to hear you talk about chances created. People want to hear you talk about why you are conceding chances. And stop talking about set pieces, bro. He's obsessed with fucking set pieces, bro, and throw-ins. He's obsessed. Like, stop. You concede chances from open play. I think me and Husam on MHF, you conceded, I think, 13 chances from open play. 13 from open play in 3 games. That is not... Bro, that is relegation level. 13 chances for open plays are nuts. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, like how this guy, within 1 year, which tells you a lot, Ten Hag, I managed to say this, took a 6th position team in Man United. You finished 3rd. Season after, you regressed because he played he wanted to play different way. Arne Slot took a team that was 3rd. Arsenal and City were shit. He played very good football, made adjustments, won the league. I think we're seeing the Ten Hag 2.0 in his 2nd season at Man United, but we're seeing it at Liverpool, being stubborn, doesn't want to change, thinks he's only right, thinks like, oh, my way or the highway. And I genuinely believe that. I'm seeing Ten Hag 2.0, bro, in the 2nd season. You remember, you finished 6th.
I get that. I suppose, look, I'm in 2 minds. I spoke about a week ago about Carlo Ancelotti, and I do still believe that Chelsea sacked him too soon. But there is a difference between these 2 scenarios. So let's paint a picture. Let's say you get knocked out tonight by Palace. That's 1 trophy gone. Let's say you draw with Villa, get beat by Real Madrid, and then lose to Man City. You could make an argument that it doesn't mean you're out of the Champions League, because you could come 23rd and still go on to win the damn thing by getting better later on in the year. But you would most likely, whether you look at Arsenal's next 2 games, you would most likely be, you're 7 points off now. If you get 1 point in the next 2 and they get 6,
12.
You're going to end 12 points off. 12 points at the top, 11 games into the season, with multiple teams by then 3, 5, 7, 8 points ahead of you. The probability of catching it is hard. So there is a difference. There is a distinction.
Almost impossible. You'd have to win 20 games in a row.
And also, it doesn't look like Arsenal are fucking losing games. Like,
yeah. so to Rob's hit point, where it's not about bad form. They are allowed bad form. It's all about how ruthless the owners are. 2, whether he then starts to change things, and whether they think those changes can still yield results. And I think it's that change element. So I always think that sometimes you got to remember that with 3 games to go in that season where Ancelotti was sacked, Man United played Chelsea at Old Trafford. I think it was the 3rd to last game of the season. I believe we had on the morning of that game, we had 73 points. I think we had, or it might have even been 70. I think we had 73 points, and they had something like 69 or 71. There was only a couple of points between us. If they won, I think they went a point ahead of us. We won and went 4 points clear. And we then drew the next game, so did they. And then we won the final day of the season. Once we drew that game, they drew, we won the league. Final day of the season, they lost, we won. And we ended up creating like a 9-point gap. But there wasn't a 9-point gap with 3 games to go. And you've always got to remember the game state of when you basically clinched the league. And they got rid of him. And I thought that was wrong, because I thought with the right investment, with the brilliant manager that he is, they could have gone again the next year and won. The issue is where I get your point, and this is where I'm open-minded to it. FSG have got to assess it in the element of why has it gone so horribly wrong? How are you 12 points behind? Can that be recovered? Will your form in the Champions League therefore improve? If they see a world where it's going to get better, then I advocate for keeping him because he's won you a Premier League before, and it is hard to find managers that are capable of actually winning the Premier League, and you've got one. The issue is if they assess it and say, and this is more of a response to Rob, if they assess it and say, listen, he told us he ain't going to change, he's going to make this style work. We don't think it will work. The data team don't think it will work. The players don't think it will work. We're dropping like a stone. I'm not saying it's the right decision, because only time will tell who they hire to replace him. Does that person work? How, they could make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and you might look back and said you should have rode the storm. But I can understand it. It's not the same as having a close season, narrowly missing out on winning the league, then being sacked, and everyone goes. Because if you recover from this, you get all the way to the end of the season, Arsenal win it on 94 points, you come second on 92 points, and then you sacked him, then I'd be really shocked. Because I'm like, well, that's still a good season in terms of the volume of wins.
Yeah,
that would shock me. That would shock me more than if you lose 3 of your next 4 games and they end up saying, listen, this just isn't working. I wouldn't sit there and go, wow,
and here's the thing as well,
it's
when
crazy.
It comes to Rob, I'll use myself as an example, and I'll use a football analogy as well. Look, last season, Terry will tell you this, I was probably one of the people defending Pep the most. The year where Klopp had a bad season, I wasn't one of the people that said Klopp out. I never uttered those words ever. I'm not even Slot out right now. But there is credit in the bank, and then there is being the guy. Klopp, I wasn't going to turn on him. Pep, City fans shouldn't have turned on him. Ferguson, the same. There are levels of managers like who have built you from the ground up, who have done so much. Like, I'm sure Terry in 2006, 2007, when United didn't win the league 2 years in a row, wasn't Ferguson out. You get me? He of course was.
What years?
You remember when Mourinho won 2 years?
3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Okay, yeah.
Like
no, we didn't win it. We didn't win it for 3 years. 04, 05, 06. Yeah, we had 3 years.
But because it's Alex Ferguson, you didn't go like, oh, Ferguson out. No one said that at the time. For us, it's different. Yes, Slot won the league title. That gives him credit in the bank. But there's every person has a cutoff point. If we lose the next 3 games, I can't control my emotions. I might after Real Madrid if we lose 3 in a row, or after Aston Villa or whatever. If I feel like this isn't improving, this isn't changing, then it's just there is no way out. What am I supposed to do? Sell 11 players and buy 11 new players?
I do hear you. Look, Stretford posted, big up yourself. I know you spoke earlier. By the way, we were talking earlier, me and him. We're not just from the same part of East London. We actually went to the same senior school. He was in like the senior year when I when I started. We didn't know that.
Are you calling Sal old? Is that what you're calling? You're calling Sal old?
Yeah, he's old fucker. Old fucker is what he is. Yeah, but it's one of these things where the Sir Alex Ferguson point you make is key, but there is always a bit of context when people talk about it. They go, "Well, United backed him." Firstly, he had a lot more credit in the bank than Slot. Was already regarded as, at that point, the greatest manager of all time. We have to remember those things. But the biggest and most important piece of context, which gets removed, is what Chelsea did to the transfer market. Now, before any Chelsea fans think I'm crying, I'm not. All's fair in love and war. We discussed this in the summer, and it kind of reinvigorated this bit of knowledge in my mind. The average top team in England for the decade prior to Roman coming in, teams averaged between 20 and 30 million max expenditure. And that was United's, Arsenal's, Newcastle's, Blackburn's, Liverpool's, the teams, the Villas, Leeds, Spurs, they all spent the most, and it was 20 to 30 million. That 2-year period, this is also why Fergie got more time. And we, nowadays when we go, no, you can't have a big club not winning the league for 3 years, sack them. Chelsea came in and started averaging £190 million a year of spending. So suddenly teams went from 30 million being spent a summer on their squads to a team coming in and going, there's 150, there's 160, there's 170 each summer, if not higher. So there was this kind of reaction from United's and Arsenal's and other big clubs in England, which was, well, we've got to adjust. We can't just assess every manager the same as we used to when there's somebody new spending that much more than everybody else can afford. That context doesn't apply now because the Liverpools and the Cities and the Uniteds and all the big teams are spending similar amounts of money to each other. It isn't like Liverpool won the league, but Arsenal went out and spent the equivalence would be Arsenal went out and spent 1.5 billion, City went out and spent 1.5 billion, and Liverpool could only afford to spend 200 million. That context doesn't exist.
Yeah, but that was my point. He's not
Yeah.
Klopp, he's not Pep, he's not Ferguson. He didn't build something from the ground up.
I
He
get
didn't.
that. That's also very, very fair as well.
From the ground up. Like, look, I'm gonna say this. Like, okay, I'm like, this is just objective reality. Like, I've been on the straight facts the longest out of any of the straight fact current crew, right? If I fuck up for the next 4 weeks, like turn up half an hour late, 20 minutes late, blah, 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 Terry's more likely to have like more leeway with me than Mo, for example, just because I've been here for a longer time, just because I do have credit in the bank. Like, I haven't missed
but I like Mo more than I like you, so
stop it. 4 years I've been here, so there is credit in the bank, and then there's like there's different types of credit in the bank. Like, just because you won the league last season does not mean that you have credit till judgment day. What you khalas, like, you know, so what? Liverpool are gonna lose the next like 4 games, and we're on like 1 win in 8, 1 win in 9, and we just keep saying he won the league last year. Everyone has a cutoff point, guys. The problem with
Yeah.
I get you. Is, regardless of percentages, everyone will agree that he's actually the main culprit of this downfall. Like, some people will go 60% slot, 70, 80, whatever it is, 90. Some people say 100, whatever it is. Everyone believes that it's 55% plus slot's fault. So by definition, if someone is 60% to blame for your current form, you've got to look at that guy. And the thing is, the reason why I'm not slot out is the same guy that played Diaz false 9 against Leverkusen helped us win 4-1. The same guy that played the box midfield away at Man City gave us the first win there in the Premier League era against Pep Guardiola. The same guy that went to Old Trafford, broke down everything wrong with Ten Hag tactics, and we won there 3-0. Like, he did so much correct tactically last season. Can't be this dumb to not realize what's happening wrong on the football pitch. So I believe he will fix it. That's why I haven't turned on him. That's why I'm not slot out. I'm giving him time to figure it out. Figure it out, Habibi. That's it. Figure it out, and I will not say the word slot out. I haven't turned on him yet. But I can't be mad at people who turned on him at the same time.
What is your threshold? We asked Arsenal fans, me and you, over the last 2 years, what is your threshold? I want Don Husam's threshold so we can hold him to that.
My threshold is
yes.
the next 4 games from now until the international break.
What are you
People will say
expecting?
Crystal Palace doesn't matter. When you lose 4 games in a row, it does matter. So all of a sudden, Crystal Palace is an important game. So I want to see performances. You guys laughed at me before Stamford Bridge when I said, if we perform really well, but we lose, I'd be okay with it, just because performances will equate to long-term sustainable results.
I agree with that.
I want improved performances. Even tonight, we lose 1-0 from a Palace set piece, but we're dominant. We hit the post 4 times. We keep possession really well. We don't concede 100 chances. I'll be like, okay, the performances is improved. Give him time. No problem.
I hear that. There's just some of these super chats. There's quite a few questions and points being made. First one says, Sadiq says, do Liverpool need the January window to spend for a balanced team?
Yeah,
No.
they do.
Liverpool don't need a single thing other than a centre-back, because Leon is out at the end of the season. Not to start, just a backup centre-back.
I think you need a DM.
Habibi, wait. Slot has everything he needs. There is no excuses. 450 million spend, you have to win.
Yeah, but
We
I
don't
don't
need
think you
any-
have a DM. Everyone has a DM but you.
We don't.
Even
we
Man
don't need
United
it.
have Casemiro now.
We don't need
Balling
well,
out, he's balling out.
Yeah, we'll talk
Rolling back the years, man. Patrick here says, big up TFT community and mods. Big up Tel, Mo and Sam as always. Always love the Wednesday show. Been a member 4 months now. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thanks for all the great content and discussions. Been really enjoying it all. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that massively. I really do. Can I thank Mo for calling out Foden and City on MHF?
I try to do my best. I try to be as neutral as I can.
I've called them out as well. I think it's not good enough.
And go ahead. We'll talk about
So
it.
this is just 4 weeks ago. Liverpool said they were giving Slot a long-term contract. I'm hopeful that he gets it. I've said all along that he's
Inept. I think
inept.
Shabi.
Inept.
Yeah.
That's from
But the
Rosie,
fact that we lost 4 games in a row is making them halt the contract talks, which is a smart thing.
which is a very sensible thing to do. No more time for Slot. More time for Slot equals no Champions League next season. Get him out is what Red Lion says here. Slot wouldn't beat the current Newport County at the moment. I'm not even speaking. My team got knocked out by Grimsby. Yeah, I think you'll win. It depends on the teams both you put out, really. I'm not sure if Palace are going to go full strength, but I feel like they should, because they're not going to make.
Ask you guys something. Should Slot take this seriously in terms of lineup?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
he should.
So
Should,
the best
yes.
11. So the best 11.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he should go best
Yeah.
11. We need it right now. We need the
Damn.
confidence. We've lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
No, he should.
what
He
are we
should
doing?
because he should
You want me
because
to watch today Rio Gomoa and shit and we lose again? Are you crazy?
because it's still a loss if he loses, and it's another competition you can't win, and it can buy him more time. It can play some players into form. Plus, you're playing Palace, and you don't know what Palace's team is. I know Slot wants to know everybody's starting lineups 2 days in advance, but he won't know. And if he goes weak, and then Palace go strong, they will lose. If Palace's first team's out there against a weakened Liverpool team with kids on the bench, they're going out. And I think they've got to try and the
Speaking
Premier
of
League.
players into form,
Yeah.
What if Verts plays today, gets 3 assists? What if Salah plays today, scores a hat-trick? What if Ekitike scores 2 goals? All of a sudden, their confidence up, which we need, because all of their confidence has been absolutely shot.
This here from Grant says, when Slot came in, Mo told him, let me play how I want and I will win you the league. Slot got too much credit for last season.
I feel like we're getting to the stage now where we're underrating what he did last year. And Arsenal fans, in the words of Terry Flewers, be very careful with the narratives you run, because I can and I will in 3 months tell you that the only reason you're winning the league is because Liverpool and City are weak. So be careful. That's why you don't discredit other teams' league titles.
Biggest variable here is the players. Slot is trying to implement a play style. If all these big money players don't believe in it, and right now it looks like they don't, him being fired is inevitable.
He has absolutely shot the confidence of these players. Like, after Florian Wirtz has a very good game, he drops him the game after. Like, you get me, dropping Salah, dropping like Ekitike, but like so much. McAllister has been dropped. No one is confident anymore. That's the problem.
Liam here says, I like the animation when you hit the like button and turn it into a football. Really good. Look forward to the show every week. Good. God bless you. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a YouTube thing. We don't set that up ourselves. I think if you set yourself to a sports thing, it might do that. But yeah, it does look nice. They should do a lot more. They should have a lot more interactive stuff on YouTube, like other platforms do. I think Slot has tried to make too many changes in the one window, and now it backfired. He needs to go back to basics. There's also an element here as well. Go on.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Look, with all due respect, Bournemouth, AFC Bournemouth changed 7 players and are currently second. Sunderland, how many players did Sunderland buy, Terry? You know they bought more players than us. You know this, right? Quantity-wise, I'm saying. But did players than us? It's not like.
But did they buy? It's buying players, and is it buying for what they were already doing? So they added. You bought lots of players and are changing loads of things. It's a completely different situation.
Now we're talking systematic. So fix the system, and all these players will perform. That's it.
Potentially, I think Slot. Yeah, sorry, we've done that one there. Slot is painted into a corner, because if he wants to go a bit more pragmatic, he needs to bench one of his £100 million plus signings, most likely Wirtz. It's a problem. But I was going to say this a moment ago. The one side I would go to in terms of just conversation, where I defend Slot potentially, is if this was FSG, i.e. Hughes and Edwards' idea. We want to play more expansively, and we want to be a club that's more attacking, and we want more flair on the pitch. And this is what we're going to give you to bring that to life. Because at the end of the day, the board dictate how the club want to play football. The manager's job is to go and implement that. They're meant to now marry up. That's the only other time you see him getting more time, is if there's a meeting in 2 weeks and they say, listen, our plan that you agreed to, but our plan looks shit. We're going to revert back to what we did before. That's the only way it would make any sense for him to not be the fall guy. But that being said, sometimes what a club will do is they might still get rid of a manager, because then it takes all the heat off them. If the new guy comes in and you improve, because people love a fall guy. Husam, do you remember Vater's Game of Thrones analogy of Liverpool, Slot and Klopp? Wanted to know whether you agree with it or not.
I haven't watched the Game of Thrones. That's not my type of show. I don't like any fantasy related stuff.
Okay.
Only
Yeah.
series I've completed completely is Prison Break.
And you'd have to tell us what the analogy was. I'd love to know what the analogy was. Lusam just worried he will be exposed by HOA.
Who's the HOA?
It's HOA.
I have no idea who HOA is. Also, I
What
want to be exposed. Slot will
is
be exposed.
HOA?
What is HOA?
The Homeowners Association. Google says. I don't know HMA. Do you mean
HOA is
HMRC?
Homeowners Association.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what that is.
Homeowners Association?
Oh, Hand of Arsenal. Hand of Arsenal.
Oh,
Hand
I'm
of
not on
Arsenal.
Twitter, so-
Yeah. That guy's been exposing a lot of people the last few days. All Arsenal fans do is discredit other teams' trophies, is what God's will.
Yeah, you can't be doing
says
that. This is
here.
to Rob and everyone in the chat. If you keep telling us that last season the only reason was injuries, no problem. The only reason you win the league this season is because City and Liverpool are ass. Second is Bournemouth, third is Sunderland. That's why Arsenal are winning the league. So we can both play this game.
This is a great comment. Big up to 45 months of the member. Husam only likes his own fantasy takes.
I don't
That's
actually
quite funny.
understand what this means.
It means a lot of your views on football are a fantasy, but they're your fantasies. You like them, is what he's saying.
Nothing
So
I
that's
say
quite-
is fantasy. I've been objective about this club for the longest.
Yeah, I get it. I want to ask you a question though, Sam, because you said this in the monologue, and I want to go into a little bit of detail on this because we're going to speak a little bit about Chelsea a bit later in the show as well, because I know Mo's got something to say. But do you really think that this is happening? Do you really think
100%.
that Arsenal are now going to go on and win the league from this point?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't have said it if I don't believe it. I accept it now. I think Arsenal are going to win the league 100%. 100% Arsenal are going to win the league. Like, I've fully accepted it. And if they win the league, they'll deserve it. They are the strongest defense in the league right now. I think the most sustainable thing about Arsenal Football Club is the way that they defend. They've conceded 3 goals in 9 games. They don't even allow the opposition to have a lot of chances. They defend unbelievably well. And their defensive structure, the way that they get back when they get attacked, which is something Mo has pointed out so many times, the way that they defend against very tough opposition, don't even allow them to create chances, don't allow them to create big chances. I believe that they're going to win the league. I think for us now, like, it's just...
Can I interrupt and ask you a
who's the real
question?
competition?
Yeah. Can I ask a question for real about this? Because I was thinking about it the other day. Because I think you said that yesterday on Image. You said that on your channel. You said, guys, prepare yourself.
After Palace, after Palace, I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
guys...
So here is the thing that I wanted to ask you. In the beginning of the season, when we were doing predictions and we spoke about Arteta and Arsenal, you said that I can't back Arsenal to win the league until they do it because of me backing Arteta for the last year and the year before, and he's failing to win the league. Are you changing your mind? So let's agree that you change your mind based on new circumstances. What happened? Like, which is everyone is allowed to change their mind. Are you changing your mind because Arsenal look better than what you expected?
Yeah,
Or
this
is it
season,
or,
this season,
or
yes.
because Liverpool and City are shit?
No, it's a combination of
But
things. You
Arteta
cannot-
didn't change of lot. So I'm gonna challenge you on this. But Arteta still this season play cautious football like last season. Arteta still play the football that you last season criticized him for. Less risk averse, cautious football. They score set pieces.
What's
What
your
makes
question? I don't understand.
What makes you change your mind? If Arteta plays the same football as last season, what makes you change your mind? Is it a competition
I
week?
think they're even more solid defensively than last year. Even more solid. Like, you've conceded, last season they didn't start off by conceding 3 goals in 9. Last season, I think they kept a clean sheet against Wolves. And
They
I
are
forgot
weaker.
what-
They are weaker offensively. Actually, factually, they're weaker
Yeah,
offensively.
but stronger defensively, which is what I said in my monologue about Arsenal. I said they're
Okay.
way stronger defensively. Like, Terry's brought this up on multiple match reactions. If you actually continue on this trajectory, they might break the Chelsea defensive record, whether we like it or not. It's a reality. 3 and 9. Do the math. Do the math.
Yeah, but they are still not
That
creating
is
from
way
open
less
play.
than 15 goals conceded in the whole year.
But you said that defense doesn't win you titles. It's attack now.
Based off the last 10 years, it's been that. But they're too solid defensively. Like Crystal Palace couldn't even create a clear-cut chance to score. It was all half chances. So the way that
So are
they
we going
defend
back to defense
structurally
win you
is so
titles then? Are we going back to
I don't
defense
know.
win
It
you
might
titles?
be a shift in football to combat the long balls and the set pieces and the throw-ins and the way that opposition play. Maybe it might be a shift in football. Football keeps going in shifts. Football keeps going in different things. Like Ferguson said, defense wins you titles, and that was the case for a while. Like with Mourinho, they won the title. Even with Ferguson's side, when they had Ferdinand Vidic, they won the title. So yeah, sometimes
So
it can be true.
So if it happens this season, which it looks like based on your logic and my logic and everyone's logic, even the pundits, if it happens and Arsenal win the league, does that mean Arteta changed the football? Because Pep Guardiola's now, by the way, his line has dropped, Erling Haaland is defending. Does that mean Arteta changed football, made people focus on long throws and set
Arsenal didn't
pieces?
change football. People have been defending since the 70s. Like this is not. This is
Teams
not
that defend don't win title.
how can you say this? When you first started watching football, there was the red and black wall by AC Milan. Remember? So people.
So he changed football back. So he changed. Can I?
Football is cyclical. It's not just Arteta.
He changed.
Football is
So
cycle.
it's so Arteta, his way of playing changed football back to the way it was in the 80s. You didn't watch that.
Arteta didn't change
I didn't
football.
watch that team a lot. I watched a lot of highlights. That team was fucking a red wall. The Milan, the 89.
Yeah, that was the best
weird, right?
team ever. Some people
Yeah, okay.
say.
So he changed football back to the way it was in the 80s, end of 80s and the 90s, where defenses win you titles more than, or he changed it to the Mourinho's, like, let me say that.
Yeah, but you're going
defense
down
win
a
you
dark path, and I'll tell you why. In
Why?
2002, Brazil changed football because they showed that offensive football wins you the World Cup. In
Yes.
2006, Italy changed football because they showed that defensive football wins you the World Cup. In 2010, Spain changed football because they showed you that possession wins the World Cup. I've had 3 changes of football in 8 years using your logic. So Arteta did not invent defending, bro. Like literally, like we cannot do this. Like Klopp's side had the strongest defense in the league when we won it. You know, Pep, I think as well for one season had the strongest defense when they won it. So we can't say that he changed football because defensive football has been around for a really long time.
I actually haven't seen in my life, I haven't seen a team that is that in control offensively while being defensively solid, apart from arguably the treble winning season for City the second half.
I can name you like 5-6 teams. You're doing too much now. You're completely doing too much.
Tell me how?
The Juventus team that reached the Champions League final, they were in control of every single Serie A game from possession and defensive perspective. There's a reason why they didn't lose a home game for like how long, until Salah scored twice with Fiorentina. I can name you the Barcelona side of 2015. I can name you the Barcelona side of 2009.
They
Barcelona
were defensively as solid as Arsenal?
Yes, offensively and defensively. Yes, Manchester United that won back to back. The Klopp side that in 2 years accumulated 198 points out of 200 and won a league title and a Champions League. You're going down you're over praising Arsenal at this point.
Okay,
You're doing
maybe I am.
I have never in my life seen a team control games. By the way, Manchester City that won the treble, and even Manchester City Centurions, and I would say the Manchester City side that won all 4 domestic trophies were in control of every single game other than it was the Pogba game and the Liverpool game at Anfield.
So I just want to say about the defensive stuff. I just went and looked at the Premier League in the last decade. So the last 11 seasons, no team outside the top 3 has ever had the best defense in that time has not had the best defensive record. So it's always one of the top 3, but only third place once, and that was in the 2015-16 season. Spurs came third, but they had the best defensive record of 35 conceded. But Arsenal and Leicester that came second and first, there was 1 goal between them. So again, one of the best defenses, 1 goal difference in that whole way. 6 out of those 11 years, the team that won the league had the best defensive record. And on 4 occasions in the last 11 years, the team that's come second has had the best defensive record. You had last year where the difference was 7 between Arsenal and Liverpool. But again, Liverpool conceded quite a lot of goals at the back end of the season when they were partying on boats. The only time there's been a big anomaly was 9 years ago when the second place team was Liverpool and they conceded 8 goals less than what Manchester City did. So this idea, again, by and large, having the best defense in the league, at the very least, puts you in a close title race. At the very least, if not wins you the league invariably. And even when you don't have quite the best defensive record, You're talking the general that 5 times it was only separated by 1 goal. So defenses have always put you, having the best defense in the league has always put you within a hair's breadth, generally speaking, of winning the Premier League title. It's always, I haven't done it over the last 20 years. I bet if we went back and looked, I bet, if I just pick a random year, I'll get this wrong now and go, I don't know, 2008, right? Random year, best defense in the league, Man United, top of the league. For another year at Mimo.
04 or 05.
Oh, yeah, we know that's going to be Chelsea. We know that's Chelsea, right? Let's throw 98. I don't know. I know Arsenal won the league that year. That's an anomaly year. They got 33.
2002. What happened in 2002?
But hey, one sec. So 98, Arsenal got conceded 33. United actually conceded 26. We actually scored more than them that year. And they pipped it again. They pipped us by a point. But it's still the second best. What year did you say?
2002. When Arsenal were actually playing very well that year. 2002.
That year was a slight anomaly too. So Liverpool actually had the best record, but they were second in the league, and they missed out by 7 points. They just didn't score enough goals in that. And again, it's one of those things where I still stand by what Sir Alex Ferguson said. And
we bought El Hadji Diouf instead of
Anel. Yeah, and it's one of those things where the rule doesn't work every single year that the best defense always wins the league, but nearly every single team that I've mentioned having the best defense was at the very least in that title race. Now, you may get those seasons where a certain team like Arsenal in 02, we know what the biggest and main difference was between those two teams. Like they're very, very close. The teams are very similar. One had Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry would have probably decided 3 or 4 games to go in that direction. But that's the winning the games element. The baseline of having a good defense is what puts both those teams in a position to be able to win the league. So that's why the saying works, because the Henrys of this world, the Mo Salahs of this world, the Wayne Rooneys of this world, they win you games, but that defense puts you in a position where you can win enough games to win the league. And I think that's the breakdown of it for me. And Arsenal definitely have to score more goals from open play. But it's one of those.
Thank you for being objective about that. At least, like because no team across history has ever been perfect. The perfect team does not exist. Maybe other than 08, 09 Barcelona, but then even more will tell you it was a refereeing scandal. So, like, no perfect team in history of football exists. It just doesn't exist. Like,
but this is my sorry.
Knocked out the Champions League group stages as an example. They lost the FA Cup. They lost the Carabao Cup. Blah blah blah. So, like, you cannot say any team was perfect, right? Every team has flaws.
Yeah.
The current flaw on this Arsenal side is you
have a big flaw.
Create more in open play. That's it.
They have a big flaw.
What flaw?
Arsenal don't take a lot of risks up top, and they don't create enough chances for their striker that they bought, and that's a flaw in the team.
I agree with that.
That's a flaw.
So
when you bought Victor Gyökeres in the summer, we all sat here and we said Arsenal have their goal scorer.
But it's not. But the thing of
none of us ever thought Gyökeres is going to be like the next Roberto Firmino. You just have to.
They still can win the league. Listen, they still can win the league with this. I'm not saying a flaw that because they're very solid defensively and they just create just enough for them to 1-0 the 2-1s. I think, and because teams play against them on low block, it's not their fault. Teams play.
The whole Arteta changed football is getting you cooked in the chat because even the Arsenal fans don't agree. Like, you're doing too much there.
Maybe I think he changed it back, to be honest with you, because I've seen a lot of teams now.
Did Diego Simeone change football? What they're saying?
Try to do what he does. Right?
Did Simeone change football?
Okay, but hold on. The difference is
against Ronaldo and Messi. By the way,
can I talk? You ask a question.
Yeah.
The difference is teams are not trying to copy what Arsenal are doing. Teams are trying to copy what Arsenal are doing. At Atletico Madrid, even Pep Guardiola is trying to do what Arsenal do in terms of
Pep is not doing what Arsenal is doing at all. That's a complete logical fallacy.
That's not actually.
That's a complete logical fallacy because City still create a lot of chances in open play.
No, but now, in terms of like the defensive solidity, the structure of the team, not being wide open, that is what I'm talking about.
Away at Arsenal. That's it.
He did it. He did it against Brentford. He did it against Brentford, though. He did it against Brentford.
Can I just say?
He literally did it against Brentford. He's lying. City fans will tell you this.
He didn't park the bus again.
He's become more.
Fucking park the bus, bro.
He's become more.
Arsenal park the bus. Who the team that plays against the lowest defensive block? This is when people think that, oh my God, you glaze Arsenal too much. When lies are being spread about the style of play, I get annoyed. Because Arsenal don't fucking park the bus. Who the team that plays against the lowest defensive block? This is what I. This is when people think that, oh my God, you glaze Arsenal too much. When lies are being spread about the style of play, I get annoyed. right? Same as for Liverpool. When people lie about Arne Slot, I get annoyed, right? If Arsenal are the team that play against the lowest block in the league, how do Arsenal park the bus? If statistically it is proven that Arsenal play against the lowest block in the league this season, yet Arsenal are the ones that park the bus. Oh my God.
Arsenal are not the team. Arsenal are the only team this season, really. Brighton and Bournemouth, pretty decent. But Arsenal are really and truly the only team this season in the entire league that are playing with what we would that we would call a consistent high line. They're the only team in the Premier League that's doing it, and that's proven factually. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Someone sent this through to me earlier on today, because the one thing I've been frustrated with the criticism of Arsenal is the idea that they're not being expansive enough, they're not creating the chances enough, they're not doing enough to win games, or I think they're doing just enough. And this was sent through, and again, this is just facts, so people can cry all they want, but it's just a cast iron fact. Arsenal's defensive line and the opponent's defensive, look how high it is compared to everyone else. Bournemouth and Brighton's is pretty high, but you look there at Man City and Man United is almost the same. United have been a team that's been called a long ball team all year. Liverpool's isn't as high as I think people think it is. There's game state, there's doing it at the right times in football matches, but Arsenal are the one team, they're pushing up much higher than everybody else by 2 to 3 yards. By 2 to 3 yards. They're pushing up. And then when you look at the opponent's side of things, the opponents are sitting so much deeper. So that's why they're so high, because it shows that the opponents are sitting at around 39 yards, where they're sitting at 51. So teams are all sitting back massively deep against Arsenal, whilst they're really high. No, the only two teams that are suffering even close to them is Brighton and Bournemouth. But teams are far more conservative and balanced against Liverpool, United. I mean, Liverpool, United, Chelsea and City are all in that cluster there together right in the middle that you can see. Arsenal are not the reason this season that the league's become a little bit less attacking. Arsenal are not the reason that is. But the point that I was going to say is I do agree with you that they've got to score more open play goals. I don't disagree, but I think it will happen. And the reason why I think it will happen is, one, if you're someone that likes XG, believes in XG, they're fifth on that list, and it's actually been growing. They've got a couple of games coming. It's still small sample size. Their next two games are Burnley and Sunderland. I think they'll create quite a lot of XG in those games. I think they'll touch the ball a lot in the opponent's box. I think they'll score 3 or 4 open play goals. And then this is what's crazy, is why everyone's overreacting. Suddenly then they'll be in the top 3, I reckon, for XG. And they'll probably move somewhere into the top 5 for the most amount of open play goals, and the percentages will even out. And then I don't understand what the narrative is going to be. It's very small sample sizes. But what's going to happen after this next international break is something that I personally can't believe is being ignored in our game suddenly. And that's when loads of teams, including the United that ain't got no European football, start playing 2 games a week. We go through runs where there's 2 Premier League games a week at times. You then go through the festive period, which is very busy. You then have January where the FA Cup starts. And what's going to start happening is, a lot of the teams right now that are all playing 1 game a week, that can put all their energy and enthusiasm into prepping for that 1 game. They sit deep. It's be hard to break down. It's going to be harder for them to do it because fatigue sets in, injury sets in, rotation sets in. And that's when you'll start to see Arsenal score more goals from open play as well, because those teams may not be able to maintain that level of discipline and be able to sit back. But if they do, can they work as hard in it to maintain that shape? No. You see a lot of teams can start seasons really well and really good. Like Sunderland and Burnley and Leeds, I think all of them are going to drop off as the season goes on. Teams work them out a little bit. They get injuries, rotation, exhaustion kicks in. And I think we're almost 9 games into a campaign. We're sort of ignoring that element of football for the first time ever and overanalyzing sort of 8 or 9 games of data. Interestingly, there are things you can take from it. And I'm saying they've got to improve it, but I think they will. When Man United fans look at the XG in the first 9 games, go, look how good it is. Everyone goes, doesn't mean nothing. Why do you care about those stats? When it comes to Arsenal, when a bad stat is found, there's national news on it. And I just find that kind of ironic there. We pick and choose. I like the stats, and I think they show an indicator, and I think we should be discussing these things. But my view is Arsenal will start to score a lot more open play goals. Teams won't be able to be as robust, as defensive, as negative against them, purely from an exhaustion perspective, because at the more games that happen, the harder it is to do that. So they're going to be absolutely fine. And
the thing
will
is,
they win
though, with that whole
on.
high line stuff, no one is saying that Arsenal park the bus. I've never made that claim. Okay, that is like when we're talking serious football, I'm talking serious football. But the thing that separates Arsenal and the reason why they can play that high line is I would like to see the position of the midfielders as an example, because that's what hurt Liverpool a lot. The positioning of the midfielder is absolutely horrendous. And the reason why that high line stat is a little bit skewed as well is because it doesn't take game state into account, meaning Arsenal can pass the ball around, can keep possession really well, which is what like it emphasizes that stat. As an example, Liverpool get attacked a lot, which is why the high line would be drawn back a little bit because we get attacked a lot of the time. But in possession, Liverpool always try to play a high line, but we do it in the wrong way, where the players aren't recovering well to get back into position, because the strongest strength that Arsenal have is when they concede a chance. Let's say they're playing the way that you're showing on the screen, which is a high line, right? And Crystal Palace get the ball. Timber, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice are all sprinting back to get into position. That's part of the defensive structure. We're not doing that at Liverpool, as an example.
Hang on.
There's a lot of things that makes it skewed.
If your average high line is lower because teams are constantly pushing you back, and Arsenal are not being pushed back,
yeah,
that shows you how offensive Arsenal are being and how impenetrable they are, and therefore teams are sitting back deeper against them and making it harder for them to score open play goals. What you're suggesting is in your game.
I just said that. I said Arsenal are impenetrable.
Yes, but that doesn't make the stats.
No,
skewed.
actually, it doesn't. It proves how in control, Terry. It proves how in control Arsenal are. Pushing the team back.
That's what I'm saying. Arsenal are in control.
They are offensive, yes.
How have you
but it
both
shows
twisted my point when I just said Arsenal are in control?
I agree with Husam here. It shows.
Arsenal are in control.
That position and high line, it proves that Arsenal are actually the genius in pushing the teams back.
I agree. If I finish my point, what I'm saying is the stat isn't skewed. The reason why their high line for is so high and their high line against is so low is because they're pinning teams back because they're a better side than everybody else in the league this season. Yes. However, because they're pinning everybody back and teams are too scared to attack them, they're sitting 11 men in around the box, meaning it's harder to score open play goals. If you're in a game that's a bit more like a basketball match, as we've seen.
Now you're doing too much.
Hang on, no. Please let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my sentence. You haven't listened to what I'm going to say. If you look at all of us guys in the middle, all of our teams, mine included, I'm not saying they're completely end to end for 90 minutes. United have spells of dominance. So do you. That's why we're in the middle. You know, we're not right down the opposite end. But when it's more open and there is more space in behind for us in attack and for teams that attack us, it's easier for both sides to score open play goals when there's more space to run into. I think it's harder for all teams if you're going up against 11 men behind the ball for large periods of a game to open them up. And teams, we saw it with Fulham, we even saw it with Palace. Teams don't even want to attack when they're 1-0 down against Arsenal. But I think what we're doing here is we're overanalyzing 9 games. And we're looking at a stat that looks a little bit skewed right now because Arsenal scored quite a lot of set-piece goals early in games. And the difference is this. This is what I thought Fulham would do, and I thought Palace would do it. I thought 55, 60 minutes in, they'd start committing 2 or 3 extra players to attacks to try and equalise, which would then mean, and push up further, which means the line would be higher, Arsenal would have more space, and I expected Arsenal to go and score a goal or two, maybe counter-attack, maybe open play. Then statistically, forget the result of the game and who the better team was, then statistically the numbers would start to look a bit more even. But what did both those two teams do? They just carried on sitting back the whole time to a point where Marco Silva was screaming at his team in the 90th minute, get up the fucking other end of the pitch and try and score what you're doing. And I think for me, that's why the disrespect towards Arsenal I've seen on TalkSport, which is Arsenal have got to be more expansive. No. If Arsenal overcommit any more players, then all these teams with pacey, fast, strong attackers will counter against them and score. They'll drop points and then get called stupid and naive. Arsenal are doing the right thing here. They're not the reason that some of these games have been boring from a spectator perspective. They've been boring because the opponents have all been camping out in their own box. That's not Arsenal's fault. It's the other teams.
No. This is where you're doing too much. Because every team that's been top of the league for the last 10 years has had the bus parked against them. Like, what, you think teams didn't come to Anfield last season and park the bus? Teams didn't go to the Etihad when they were dominating and park the bus? They park the bus against everyone. Everyone has the bus parked against them when you're dominant. This is normal. I think this is when Arsenal fans are making unnecessary excuses. No team is gonna. By the way, even Pep himself. So forget all the smaller teams. Pep himself came to the Emirates and defended. Pep himself went to Anfield and defended. So to claim that like this is like some sort of like, oh, you know, everyone parks the bus against Arsenal. Okay, but that's what they're supposed to do, though. Like everyone should go to the Emirates and park the bus. So it's on to Arsenal to combat that. Currently, they're combating it using set pieces. Do I believe set pieces are sustainable? No, but let's not use that same argument over and over again. I think what's sustainable for Arsenal right now is the way that they defend, the structure of the defense.
See this, so if you go and look, at Magic,
you can't say it's Fulham's fault.
No,
it's not.
No. Well, it is Fulham. If Fulham don't attack at all, even when they're losing, I don't blame Arsenal for not being more expansive. If we're going to blame somebody for the game being boring, it's the team sitting there doing this. And the thing is, you can go onto the website and you can look, Magic has shared all these statistics from the last few seasons where you can look at what the defensive lines look like over the last few years, right? And this is what's crazy. When you start to look at all these defensive lines from the last few years, you can see that more and more teams are now sitting back compared to normal. So to your point, and again, we're looking at I'm not the one who's brought up the small sample size. It's the people having a go at Arsenal that have done that. But I'm going to put a couple of the last few seasons up on the screen as well so you can see them. More teams are sitting back now than in the last 5 years. The only team that isn't is Arsenal Football Club. And this is just a cast iron, undeniable, undebatable fact. More team. If you want more entertaining football, look, you can see it. Look how many more teams are up near the high line where more teams are sitting.
Arsenal are in control, Terry.
Yes, but that's not the point being made here.
To understand. I'm trying to explain to you the point, but you're misunderstanding.
No. I'm not misunderstanding you. What we're now seeing, if you look at this graphic here, you have seen City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Brighton with much higher lines themselves. Right now, the only teams that sit inside that same percentile is Arsenal. That's 5 teams. That is a quarter of the league. The mid levels are much more teams in the mid block, the mid area as well. So if we suddenly have less teams in the high percentage, less teams in the middle percentage, and more teams in the low percentage, that means more teams are sitting back and compacting their box than in the last 5 years. If there's only one team that isn't doing that, that's why there's a disparity.
When Pep Guardiola was dominating English football, everyone parked the bus against Manchester City. Every single week, people went to the Etihad and parked the bus. Don't change the narrative. People came to Anfield in 1920 and last season and parked the bus. When you are the strongest, best side in the English Premier League, teams will come to your home stadium or even at home to you and park the bus. This has been happening every single season since Pep walked into
Can I ask a question, Terry, before you talk?
Can I finish first?
Go on.
The second thing is, all I'm saying is you guys are twisting my point into what I'm like. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm saying Arsenal are in control of games.
Yes.
So Arsenal now are pinning Crystal Palace in their own half. Arsenal lose the ball. Crystal Palace win it. What happens next? Timber rushes back to get to position. Calafiori rushes back. Zubimendi, Rice, blah, blah, blah. The difference with Liverpool and City is that doesn't exist. That's why we're getting abused.
So this is...
We are absolutely going in circles. We're talking about different... Terry, how do teams create chances? I'm going to answer for you and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. They take risks in terms of crosses, far post, late runs to the A team. They actually cross a lot. They do stuff like this. Or a genius pass to a forward that is elite like Erling Haaland where it's unexpected, right? When you watch, that happens against slow blocks. Otherwise, when you play a high line, you can create by long balls. You can create by actually making runs in the space, right? When you watch Arsenal, Terry, we agree, all of us agree that Arsenal play against the lowest block in the league because they are the best team in control of the games. Do you think Arsenal take enough risks for your liking or create enough chances for your liking from open play in the games when you watch them with your eyes?
Well, the stats match my eyes. They do take enough risks. Everything Husam said, I agree with. Teams park the bus against those 2 previous teams. I'm not denying that. But we're missing a fundamentally important part of the conversation. Arsenal are being overanalyzed for a small sample size this year. So when it's a small sample size, 1 or 2 games can suddenly change everything because the sample size is small. You know, you could be 100% on a test when you get the first question right. 100% correct answer sounds good. But if you get the second question wrong, at that moment, you're 50% right. And 50% right sounds really, really bad. So it takes time to build up these numbers properly. And people go stat merchant, stat this. It's you guys, not you two. It's the people having a go at Arsenal that are using the stats, not people like me. The difference is this. Teams do sit back against City and Liverpool. But invariably what will happen is when they go a goal down, at some stage in the game, they start to open up more. And we all know, I know you see this as an Inter fan. As a United fan, I like this. And I know you love this as a Liverpool fan, Husam. Playing against a team that's sitting back, hard to break down, you get that goal and you go, oh, yes, because they're going to open up. We're going to have more space. We can punish them. What I've seen in the last couple of matches is two teams not open up even when they're losing. They've carried on just trying to maintain what they've got and maybe nick a late goal. But you look at their games, you know, one team that didn't do that this season against them was Leeds. They smashed them 5-0. Forest didn't do Atletico didn't do it, smashed them 4-0. Forest didn't do it. They came out after conceding the goal, got beat 3-0. The City game was the first time you've ever seen for 35 minutes in the second half, Erling Haaland play as left centre-back. That's how far back they were 1-0 down, 1-0 up. So they sat in, and Arsenal didn't do enough in that game until late on in the match. They played against Newcastle, and against Newcastle, who attacked, they had so many chances, but Nick Pope had blinders. Don't forget how many saves that day Nick Pope made. Some of the brilliant football Arsenal played. The great marauding run through the team where Trossard hits the post. 2 good shots saved from Eze in the first half. That brilliant bit of play where then Timber, I think it was, there wasn't Timber that chipped it. I think Timber headed it. Somebody chipped the ball over. Timber headed it. Couldn't believe it was saved. But they opened up and attacked. And because Newcastle didn't allow them to, but Newcastle attacked in that game. The last couple of matches, the teams haven't bothered to try and attack them. So we're looking at 2 games and we're overanalyzing it. In the previous sort of 5, 3 teams opened up. They beat all of them, battered 2 of them. I just think we're looking at too small a sample size here. But when people do that, well, then we'll analyze that small sample size. And what we're seeing for the first time in 5 years is only one team play over high line in the whole Premier League. And everybody else is much lower than the average amount. But that will equal itself out as well. Those graphs that we showed will look different based on what I said earlier. 2 games a week, rotation, injuries, cup competitions, 3 months of solid football. Then it will all start to change. Teams won't be able to do it as much. Teams will start getting desperate for wins that need wins. Yes. So they're going to open up more. All these things play in. What's happening with Arsenal is there's nothing to really be angry with them at. So people are overanalyzing a couple of stats that read bad 9 games in that are so likely to even themselves out. It's unbelievable.
Can I just establish something before you finish? I actually would like my team to be as much in control as Arsenal, actually. As long as Arsenal keep winning 1-0, to be honest with you guys, and I actually did a video about this. As long as the team is winning, if my team is in control and they're winning game, I don't give a fuck if we score from a penalty, from a corner, from a set piece. As long as if my manager is finding ways to win, I'm absolutely would be loving this. It doesn't matter. We won the league with Antonio Conte winning 1-0, and it didn't matter. We got 90 points, and it didn't matter. It's fine. As long as Arsenal winning, it's fine. Who cares?
I agree.
But then you can't get annoyed when other people are saying Arsenal are boring.
You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? No, you can,
because Arsenal are not the reason that the games are boring.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why? Okay, hold on. It doesn't matter. Why the top of the league is getting criticized? My problem with the media lately and with people is like, why you're only looking at the negatives? Why when we're analyzing Arsenal, we're doing shows, MHF, Football Terrace, Don Husam, Judge Mo. The talk about Arsenal, are you boring? Why are you boring? Why are you ruining the game? Why? It's not about how are you in control? How did Arteta build this team to be so much in control? Why it's about boring? Why the negative is being brought up instead of the positive for top of the league? While for Liverpool, I'm going to tell you, because for Liverpool last season, when Salah was scoring 70% of the goal, it was seen as a positive. Oh, what about the rest? Why are the rest not scoring then? It was seen, okay, Salah is scoring so many goals. It's great. But the rest of the team is not scoring goals. The rest of the team are not doing it. We're praising it as positive. Sorry. That's my point about the media.
My view on it, as many people as they want can say in the comments, you know, Terry and Mo are undercover Arsenal fans. I did the same thing last year for Liverpool when countless people said, boring league, low quality league, it's the worst standard ever. I'm like, well, just because your teams are having bad year doesn't mean that Liverpool aren't at a high standard. It's as simple as that.
Wallahi,
So,
Husam will attest to me for
I'm-
me defending Liverpool last season, and he said one of the most
I'm defending
competitive
and I'm
leagues.
defending Arsenal in exactly the same way. Arsenal are attacking, are committing men forward, are playing with a high line, are pushing the ball to the edge of the opponent's box. For me, the boring factor is the team sitting with 11 men behind the ball for large periods of the game. I don't think Arsenal should be almost like the people are trying to bully them into commit. You know what? You know, you've got two defenders sitting back in case of counters. Yeah, send them into the attack as well, so you've got nobody defending. That's the only other option they've got because of how deep everybody's sitting. If Arsenal did that, they'd be stupid.
There's the reason why the media do it, because they have to sell the Premier League.
But you're doing it. You've just said Arsenal are the reason their games are boring. You just said it, not the media.
No, I think Arsenal are one
How
of
is
the
a
reasons.
professional? How is
Not
a
the
professional
sole
pundit?
reason.
How is a professional pundit that gets paid to be on mainstream media on TV keep saying the same shit of me and you are YouTubers. We fucking can do it all day. Okay, we sell clicks. We clickbait, Yahi. How is the guy getting paid? Yahi, we clickbait, okay? How is the guy sitting getting paid, being portrayed as a professional journalist? Professional. So people take their words as professionals doing it.
I know the reason why they do it. The reason why they do it is because they want to sell the product, which is the Premier League. And they can't do Super Sunday with Arsenal Crystal Palace and there's no chances, because their whole point of selling the Premier League is this whole end-to-end football, aggressive, athletic, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Everyone can beat anyone on any given day. And right now, Arsenal is not giving them that. So they have to say this from a pundit perspective. Media perspective.
Okay, let's jump to some of these super chats here because there's quite a lot of them. Let me just timestamp these. I'd like people to know when they can see their super chats being discussed by the lads. And then we've got a Maresca section coming up too. So stay with. By the way, 4,500 watching on YouTube, 5,600 in total, including on X. If you are watching on X right now, there's a link on the post. Come and join us here with the community joining in the chat. We'd love to hear from you as well. But let's get the likes up. Over 1,000 likes. This has become one of our biggest shows of the week now. So I want to thank the boys for helping us do that. Mo and Sam. So just keep the likes going up. Keep sharing the stream, please. Amazing. This says Terry, wasn't the best possession based dominant team Barca, English wise Man City? Didn't those teams create chances out of open play against low block teams? If not an excuse not to score? Of course it did. And Arsenal have created chances. Arsenal have had chances in these games to score and sometimes not taken them. But we're looking at the last two matches. Outside of that, the teams that really sat back low against them and don't have particularly good defenses themselves, that opened up once they conceded. In the Premier League, you've got Leeds and you've got Forest as an example that got beaten up a little bit. As an example, the Newcastle game was open. I don't really mind the cagey games between them and City and them and Liverpool, because that for me is how top teams have always been. Rarely do you see top teams batter each other in the Premier League. You might say, get 3-1 one day or something. But most of them games, 1-0, 1-1s, 2-1s. That's how a lot of those games have always been. And Arsenal will play quite a few of them in their opening 9 games. It's too small a sample size. But Arsenal will create and have created chances. In the Champions League, they're creating more than they're creating in the Prem per 90 minutes because teams open up a little bit more. Yeah, they attack because every point matters and they're trying to get it. And what's going to happen in the Prem is the later the league, there's been a weird year as well because they haven't played either Wolves or West Ham. No, they have played West Ham, beat them 2-0, scored 2 goals in that game. But there are certain teams that are getting battered or getting beat every week. And there are other teams that have started really well. But it's all going to turn around and change. Like Man United play Wolves and West Ham back to back. And I know my club's luck. By the time we get to them, they'll have found their feet a little bit. Like everybody's clucking to play them now. What Arsenal wouldn't give to play Wolves at home this weekend? Because they'd probably put 5 or 6 past them. The stats would balance out. And then what would people talk about? It's too early, my friend. To the neutral, it's like watching 2 heavyweights hug each other for 10 rounds in 10 out of 8 fights. A W is a W, but boring. Listen, I don't disagree that as a spectacle it will be boring, but I'm not necessarily blaming Arsenal for all of that. And by the way, I don't think Arsenal are playing like peak Barcelona.
0.17 XG in open play against Crystal Palace.
0 shots on target in October matches is what Terry said about the last few games. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Again, but that's just that in the other direction. And this is why I think it plays both ways. But everybody wants to just shit on Arsenal, and I'm not going to do that. Main reason, like you said earlier, Husam, Don't run with certain narratives. You never know when it will hurt your team. That's why I keep it 100. At the end of the day, teams aren't even committing enough men forward to generate actual shots on target against Arsenal. So therefore, there's less room at the other end. I don't remember the last time I saw a team go 3 games. I mean, I know statistically it shows as a shot on target from Palace, but have you seen what it was? It's never a
fucking header. Look.
Yeah. It's not even a shot. United didn't park the bus against Arsenal. Did they smash us in open play? Did they create significantly against us in open play? No. And Arsenal were criticised for that game. And Man United, by me anyway, were quite praised for how we played, but not converting. And the first couple, this is also what is being ignored. The first couple of games of the season, or across comps, Arsenal were maybe a little bit sluggish, and people are, oh, that ain't good enough, and I need to do better there. And that was criticism that I gave, Sam gave, Mo gave, everybody gave. Yeah, but again, we're looking at a very small sample size this season, and we're trying to nitpick something to be negative about because they're clear at the top, smashing it in the Champions League, and they're purring right now. And I think we're doing too much. This here says, Husam is far too biased, no objectivity. Pep had 11 behind the ball against Arsenal for the entire second half. Husam can't conceive anything good about Arsenal.
That's a complete lie. I said conceding 3 goals in 9 games, 5 big chances in 9 games. I've been praising your defense. I've said so much positive. I've said you're going to win the league. How's that not positive?
I used to love that when people, Liverpool fans and City fans, go to me, why don't you call us scary? I said you're the best team in the world. It's a much bigger I still am miffed to this day how me saying Arsenal scare me because they were leaving me in the mud was a bigger compliment than saying City were the best team in the world. Still spazzes my brain out. That does. I think it's rivals. I think to rivals it's boring because Arsenal win comfortably without last-minute goals needed. I mean, I've had a few last-minute ones as well. For God's sakes, control and creativity aren't the same thing. You can have a high line and pass sideways. That line stat doesn't look at creativity. But when you do look at creativity, they're in the top 5 in the Premier League for that. And, I mean, Crystal Palace are actually top of that. Man United are second, and Arsenal were only...
Including set pieces.
Including set pieces, yes. That's how you... Yeah. That's also a way of creating chances.
XG, they're 8th in the league.
Okay, and I think if you turn around and you look at that, and you look at that again another 4, 5, 6, 7 games, I bet they continue to go up. And that's why I think it's an over. If you don't think it, then state why. Like I said to a lot of people this week, if you don't think they're going to create more and score more from open play, like stand on business, explain why they're not going to do it, and give an actual full opinion. I think they will. I think they're going to do it. That's why I'm not overly focused on it. If they don't, we'll address it. But what I'm a bit frustrated with is people that are giving half-baked opinions. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, do you think they'll turn it around? Don't know. Maybe not. What's that? I don't know what that means. You know, it's you marrying John? Yeah, he's never been married before him. Or what do you think that means? Do you think he'll cheat? Do you think he'll leave me? Don't know. Might not. I mean, what does that mean? Come on.
I know you're doing super chat, but there is a super chat that keeps saying that I'm a hypocrite because I call Pep ball boring and Barcelona ball boring. When did I not say that? When did I not, Sasha? Someone called Sasha. When did I not call Arsenal boring? I think we did a show on my channel, and even Arsenal fans were saying, yes, it's boring, but we're in control. I would love my team to be winning games in control. That doesn't mean it's not boring. It's fine.
Also, you as Arsenal fans, you have emotional investment in the game.
Like for me, yes, for the spectators, it might be boring watching Arsenal knock it around and the opposition actually sitting back, which is I said the same about Pep. That it doesn't mean that it's Arsenal are not in control, and I wouldn't like my team to look like Arsenal, concede 5 chances in 3 games only, or like 9 games and winning 1-0. That has nothing to do with this.
Also, anyone who thinks Arsenal are playing like Barcelona used to, I think you're mad. Are we saying that this Barca is doing this Arsenal team is doing what peak Barca did?
No, because they don't have Messi. If they had Messi, they would have done it.
Maybe, but that's also another side of it as well. Like that's the other part of the argument.
You have arguably the best player, or not arguably the best player.
And yeah, I mean, it's like I think if you just took if you went now in a time machine and got Messi, Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta, and put them in this West Ham team, they're getting into Europe. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's you can't discount the levels of player there as well.
Messi in this Arsenal team, Arsenal might get 100-something points. Come on.
I agree. But like I said about Pep's teams, Like what I found boring is that they would win their game so easily. I understand why people see it as a spectacle, but the reason why it was boring is because the other teams are nowhere near on their levels, and that was it. I like watching Pep's teams now because there's a bit of jeopardy in the game, but it's not like Arsenal don't give you jeopardy. That's the thing. Palace in the first half, 3 or 4 counterattacks. They just didn't commit enough men to it. Fulham had 3 or 4 good counterattacks. So Arsenal's teams, this is why I don't compare them to Pep's top sides. They don't give you loads and loads of opportunities, but there's counterattack opportunities. Pep's very best teams, they gave you not a sniff because of their possession levels, and I don't think they're the same personally. If again, this is the irony where people are pushing it. So for you to push that narrative, what you've got to do is say that Arteta's got his teams playing as good as Pep's Barcelona and best City teams. But you don't want to say that either, do you? See, because then you're like, oh shit, that's praise for some people. So which is it? You guys are in the halfway house, man. It's so funny. You'd think Arsenal was bottom of the league and created no chances at all. They're finding ways to get the ball into the net and winning games. This is boring. What's really interesting when you say this is United have won games recently, and what I've heard from a lot of people is it's because teams don't respect you yet. There's more room to play in because they don't respect you yet. And I'm like, that's a fair argument. Arsenal teams respect them so much they don't attack. That's not an excuse. So United's, we have to factor that into why we're doing well. But Arsenal can't factor into that why it's harder for them to score. Football fans are fucking mental, I tell you. All of us. First 6-7 games, we've played United away, Liverpool away, City at home, Newcastle away, and people expect to be high up on these stats. It's just silly. It's a very fair point. They need a new trophy for open play XG. Eze and Zubi set piece goals possible in open play. Yeah. The media forced Mikel into this. Every season it's been never again. Weak bottlers, no mentality. The Arsenal banter ecosystem created this monster. The element of truth to that, I think. You know what's boring? This narrative. I like that, Cal. Can we be honest, please? The goals from Zubi and Eze are classified as set-piece goals, yet were absolute bangers. This is true. This is true. When I was younger, I didn't think, if you cross a ball from a corner and it gets cleared, and then it's crossed back in and you score, or a few touches and someone bangs in a screamer, I never thought they were considered set-piece goals. I always thought set-piece was like the cross, the header in, or like a free kick directly in. I used to think penalties are set-piece goals. They're fucking not. I used to think counter-attacks were open play goals. Turns out they're not. I've learned a lot through this narrative, though, so thank you all. Good morning from Canada. Great show as always. Thank you, Michael, my old mate. Arsenal weren't the first team to always face low blocks. Pep and Enrique, for example, coach teams always face extremely low blocks, but were good enough to break them down in open play. Arsenal aren't at that level. Well, yeah, I mean, no one is claiming that this Arsenal team is at the level of peak Cities, treble, four-peat winning Centurions, or Pep's peak Barcelona side, who are still considered the greatest club team of all time. No one's making that claim. No one's saying that. I mean, imagine having to get to that level before you're called good. What are we doing? Come on now.
With a shit manager as well.
Yeah, fuck you, Arteta, for not being as good as Pep Barca. My word.
I'm a loser, bro. Some manager's a loser.
In 23-24, Arsenal were slapping teams 4 or 5-0 by half time. Porto showed everyone how to slow them down, and now everyone has copied the mid-low blocks. Teams would rather edge a 1-0 than be at 4-0 at half time. I agree. They're scared of them. You guys are jokers about scoring in open play. Teams have 11 players in the 6-yard box. Where is the open play goal coming from?
Same open play goals that Liverpool scored last season, and City and Pep and all the teams we watched.
And this is the thing, though. But this is why the sample size is small. Because imagine last year we took your game in your first 5-6 games when you lost at home to Forest. If we honed in on that Forest game and went, see, low block came, couldn't win. That proves how bad you're probably going to do this season, because in that one game, you couldn't break them down and they scored on the counter-attack. It was a one-game sample size. I think we're focusing on a couple of games here, and I think everybody is doing too much personally. especially if everyone's also saying they're going to win the league. I'm like, hang on. So they're going to win the league, but they've got problems. I'm so confused by rivals at the minute. How does Arsenal, rivals of Arsenal, that is, how does Arsenal manage to get so many set pieces? Is it from the open play attack? This is true. Arsenal has the most touches in the opponent's box in the league. This is true. I also think that should be an expectation on some of your players who converted some of these chances. You know, I go back to that Newcastle game as an example. There were 3 or 4 times where I think you should have scored. So there is criticism for the individuals not converting chances, but that seems to always disappear when it suits. He didn't do it against Brentford, Mo. You're just mad. Napoli smashed Inter on their heads. Oh yeah, McTominay turned up. McTominay killing that league, man. Big up, Scotty Mac. As an Arsenal fan, I don't care if we win the league. Not City and Liverpool have fallen off 3 times, coming second, and 21-year wait. Yeah, Shane, you shouldn't care at all, my bro. You shouldn't care one bit. So Diego Simeone changed football too, Mo.
Yeah, he played defensive and he beat Ronaldo and Messi.
I answered this already, Joshua. Joshua, nobody's trying to copy Diego Simeone, but
No one is copying Arteta either.
Yes, you ask your manager to be more defensive because you're conceding too many goals while in the beginning of the season you're like, all attack. We want to go all out attack.
Oh, Terry, your little blue t-shirt looks as smooth as Van Damme's pink Y-fronts in that film Double Impact. Well, Van Damme looked very good in those films. I'll take the compliment, Mr. Me. When the Game of Thrones season aired, whilst following him, I'll say George R.R. Martin's Klopp book story, the series was amazing. When the series went beyond the books, the quality of the series gradually died, exposing the writer's slot as the series went on. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've already responded to this. I don't believe. I think Slot is an author, and his book already won the Premier League last season. The problem is he didn't stick to the book, and part 2 he's changing too much, and he's changing too much in the way that it's negative. I don't believe Slot is an editor. I believe Slot's an author because he created a different style and a different system, and he ended up winning. Nothing he will say will change last season's league title. Nothing.
I haven't ever discredited Liverpool for winning the league. I have questioned whether their points gap and winning it early meant they were
You're 7 points ahead of Liverpool in October and 6 points ahead of City in October. The only reason why you won it is because we're shit.
Do you think it's fair though for an Arsenal fan last year to go Liverpool deserved? Say this is the stance of an Arsenal fan. I'm making one up here. Liverpool deserved to win the league. They were excellent. But I do think as a team, we are closer to them. We just had a bad year because of injuries, and next year will be closer. Would you say that would be a fair assessment?
But once again, I'm simply talking about last season's league title. It's not my logic. I don't discredit any league title.
No, it's not. That's not discrediting the league title, but that's one of those things where you used to fight, right? You did wrestling, right?
The only reason why Arsenal are top of the league is because Liverpool and City are shit.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. You did wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever lose a fight?
To be honest, no, but I didn't do it for that long.
Okay. Because I've been on the mats before and had a fight, and I remember going to a fight. I had a really bad cold for a week. Really shouldn't have been there. Fought, got beat by about 4 points. But I remember congratulating the guy, and I remember sitting down with my coach, and I had to fight him again the next week, another tournament. And he was in the section. If I got to the latter rounds, I'd come up against him. My coach was like, "You worried about fighting?" I said, "No, I know I can beat him. I was just a bit slow today. I can do this. I can do that different." That wasn't me discrediting that he beat me or that he didn't deserve to win that tournament on that day. But it's me saying, I think with this improvement, I can beat that team. That isn't discrediting somebody. That's just talking about it from your perspective. I think there's room for that kind of conversation. I think that's all Rob's saying, by the way. I might be wrong, Rob. Let me know. We are winning all the titles, league titles, European titles, car titles, house titles. Come on, you gooners, is what Grant says here. You don't trust Arsenal's attack, then why are they favourites?
Their defence, which I made it clear an hour ago.
I also feel it's Arsenal's to lose, but if they do, it will be the funniest thing in Premier League history. Absolutely loved Husam's comments last night about a potential United title not happening, causing Liverpool fans to leave planet Earth.
The world
Yeah,
is not
if-
ready for a United Arsenal.
Man United
title
are in a
race.
title race with Arsenal. I'm singing North London forever, mate.
Yeah, suddenly
Who
he'll
do you
love
support,
Arsenal. What? Yeah, I love it. Of course, you will know the answer to that. Arsenal. No, joking. Let's face it, guys. Slot is in a rebuild. Mo and Van Dijk are coming to the end, and these new players need to gel. Winning the league might have become a problem in the rebuild because people's expectations are too much.
Not a rebuild at all. It's not a rebuild at all. When Ferguson bought Saha, Tevez, Berbatov, he wasn't rebuilding. The expectation was to win the league. Same expectation for us.
Mo doing too much. Atletico 2013-14 stopped Messi and Ronaldo.
Big up Diego
Weren't
Simeone
consistent.
changed
They
football.
weren't consistent.
Without Odegaard, Havertz, Jesus, and Madueke is what VIP Studio says here.
I'm sure Madueke would have contributed to the creativity a lot.
The media hate on Arsenal and Teta is boring now, is what Emmanuel says here. Hashtag boring dark art set piece FC. Let's go. Husam, are you getting a frame picture of the Atleti lineup?
I
What's
don't
that
get
about?
the joke.
You must have said something. An ironic 2019-20 City second, but 102 goals scored. Well, this is the thing. Someone actually sent me an even better example through in 99. I didn't know this. In 1999, Arsenal only conceded 17 goals in the league. United conceded about 30 odd. But you see the difference? United defensive record was actually quite good still. 30 is pretty decent. But we scored, I think, nearly 30 more goals than Arsenal. Goals win your games. Defense win your league. But if you're not scoring the goals, you're not winning the games. That's the analogy. Fergie was a genius. Don't doubt him. Arsenal Arteta will never be good enough unless they have a perfect stats and go invincible with 0 draws. Even then, producing results, people nitpick. Is
No one
what
said
Cleo says
Fine.
here. Thank you, Cleo. And not as funny as Tottenham coming third in a 2-horse race, though. It depends who beats them to it. I did say this yesterday. If Bournemouth were to win the league this year and get over Arsenal, that'd be bad times. That'd be bad times. It's not going to happen, but that would be bad times for them. Before we end, I want to go to you, Mo, because you wanted to say something about Maresca. And I didn't want to miss out on that. I didn't think that section. I didn't think that section would take an hour, and it did. But I've got to respect. I want to say about the audience. 35 super chats in that period. I want to say thank you to all of you for super chatting. That's why it took so long. But that's because you wanted to speak about it. You messaged me earlier saying, "Can we talk about Maresca?" You were fuming at what he said.
Just quickly, the man is using Arne Slot now. Arne Slot coach. He's saying that the reason why we didn't play well against Sundowns is because they changed the tactics. And I'm like, isn't that your job? And this is what Arne Slot said when teams change tactics against him. Are we going to be now in the era of managers saying that changing tactics, which actually hurt us as a football team? I didn't understand this. People change tactics since the beginning of football, every game. And he's like, I watched 9 games. They never changed. They changed for us because you are supposedly a good team. So you are expecting that to happen against you. I don't know why team managers, when they lose now, they're using this thing. And I think Chelsea fans, there is news this morning about Iraola to Chelsea and all this stuff. They might have to beat Liverpool to that if both of them are sacking their manager. Enzo Maresca might not get sacked now, but in the same time, they won 2 and 5. And I'm starting a little bit to get worried about Palmer coming back from that groin injury. And Chelsea fans need to be a little bit worried about the direction of the team in the league, not in the cups, bro. They changed the lineups, and I'm not liking these comments from the managers, to be honest. That's what I wanted to say about this. Arne Slot said it.
I'll say my opinion on it quickly before hopping off. I think the thing with Maresca is he's feeling the pressure. Like Slot is feeling the pressure, and he's these are bullshit comments, to be honest with you. And I think it's just making excuses, and they just have to get on with it. Sunderland is a team you're expected to beat at home, and they didn't beat them. And I think Chelsea deserve. By the way, we talk about Liverpool, we talk about United, we talk about all the sides that are City, the sides that are going through a rough patch. Chelsea deserve the biggest criticism out of any club in the whole Premier League, because we said they have an easy start to the season and they're currently 9th, and it's just not working for them at all. So they are
15th, Husam, in the home table. 15th in the home table.
So they have to, and that's with them having an easy
and
start.
They played easy. Yeah, apart from
draw
Liverpool,
to Crystal Palace, a loss at home to Brighton, a loss at home to Sunderland. Like it's just not. And the funny part is about that comment is he's basically admitting that Sunderland out-tacticked them. Well done, mate. Well done. You sound like Arnie.
The
Yeah,
thing, I don't really mind it in the sense of cheers, bro. I don't really mind it in the sense of when I look at that comment, I think to myself, that's probably an honest assessment in the sense of, oh, they've done something I didn't expect. Everything I prepared my team for goes out the window. In isolation, I get it, but I wouldn't say it publicly. It's not something I would say to the players, and it isn't something I would say to them. What I would be expecting from a Premier League manager is for him to go, right, they're not playing how we prepared for. It's not a problem. We're going to do X, we're going to do Y, we're going to do Z. We're going to tackle it this way. Solution finding rather than stating a problem. The scariest part of this quote, the scariest part is they started with 5 at the back against Man United.
Yeah.
Which means in their last 3 games, they play with 5 at the back.
But imagine. I want you to
So
imagine if Amorim
what were they watching? And what were they watching if they didn't notice they started with 5 at the back against Man United? They changed it after 30 minutes. So what they should be looking at is they're going to play 5 at the back. If you'd have watched that United game, they'd have seen what happened when they played 5 at the back. And then, right, they've gone 5 at the back. Okay, well, we know what United did. I'm going to make these adjustments. Neto, I want you to do this. Garnacho, I want you to do this. Pedro, you've got to do this now. Slight adjustments and make it work. So if you really had watched the matches, you'd have known they played with 5 at the back. That's a bit that would scare me as a Chelsea fan, is you and your whole team have missed it, or you're not telling the truth, because they did. Yeah. So that's why sometimes less is more.
Yeah, 100%. Chelsea fans need to open their eyes. Yes, he's been let down in the transfer market, but it doesn't mean it's acceptable to fucking get. He got 1 point out of 3 games at home against Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Sunderland. That's unacceptable, bro. You should have been challenging for the league. And also, like, what is this? What are we doing here? 9th? Yeah, but we're 4 points behind the top 4. Yeah, Bournemouth are ahead of you. Sunderland are ahead of you. Man United are ahead of you. And we had this discussion. Man United, you remember me and you spoke about this. Man United look better than Chelsea now on the pitch. 2 years ago, I said Chelsea look better and the trajectory is up. Bro, I don't know. Like, I think they have the talent to play better. I'm afraid that Chelsea might actually regress this season, and we're gonna hear the project starts again next season with a new manager. I'm not liking this, to be honest. Chelsea need to be more consistent.
The project don't start again with new managers, and that's a narrative I will not be letting any club push, including my own football club. It's a continuation with what they've been doing, but yeah, that comment would worry me. This says he should have a plan for that already. I agree. I forget Maresca, because people think I'm being nasty. My club manager, let's say we're playing a team that plays 4-3-3. I would expect a plan for 4-3-3. I would expect a plan if they go down to 10 men and if we go down to 10 men. I would expect them to know, well, what substitutions are made and how often does he change shape? What other shapes does he use? Well, we have to have a plan for all of those in case he makes the change. That's the level of preparation that if I run a football club, I would expect my manager and the coaches to know, especially at United when we've got a whole week to prepare. We should know how they line up, how they play, what they like to advert to. And I saw a few Sunderland fans actually write on things that he did it quite a few times in the Championship last year. So again, what level of due diligence are you doing? And they're the coaches. They're not fans. They're coaches. So for me, yeah, that was absolutely that is definitely something to slightly be worried about. By saying it, he thought the media might understand. Well, this
understand what? I'm sorry. I understand what?
Sorry, go on.
Might understand what? I know you're an Arsenal fan, AMT. Might understand what? That people changed tactics and he didn't prepare well and he didn't watch actually the right games. And if Amorim said this, he would have been slaughtered in the media. If Arteta said that when they lose at home, bro, they're like, oh, we're sorry, we played Brentford and they changed their tactics at home. But bro, they didn't. It's kind of weird, to be honest.
So, I get there's honesty we want sometimes. This is why sometimes, and a lot of football fans go, I want honesty 100% of the time from my manager. No, you don't. You don't want to know. You don't always want to know the truth. It can stress you out more than anything. Sometimes it's better to not. I remember being a kid once, and I don't think they do these trips anymore. They took us to a farm to show us how meat is made. It was like they're organic, but they showed us. They didn't actually show us the actual killing. They showed us where they take the animals. And I remember there's these machines, they put the cows in and they get their neck slit. but all the blood was still there. I remember being 15, 16 going, this is horrific. For that moment, I was like, I don't want to see this stuff. I just want to eat it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes in life, you are better off not knowing the truth. You don't need to know the truth about everything. We think we want the truth, but as the brilliant Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. And I think sometimes we can't as fans either. It's like, what did he just say? I'm bantery. I know you're bantery.
Yeah, I know you are. The problem is some Chelsea fans in the chat, which I'm watching, they're saying, like, he's keeping it real. He's being stupid. He's not keeping it real. He's being stupid.
Open your eyes. You're so dramatic. He's been here how long? 2 trophies, top 4, not even 2 seasons. He says weird things in interviews.
Okay, so that's what Terry was talking about, Ronan. The problem is sometimes when you say stuff like this, you cause people to ask questions. You don't need to say everything in the thing. And also, your project hasn't started with Maresca because we know he doesn't actually pick the players. We know that the board picked the players. The project started when they first took over the team and got rid of the Koulibalis after they bought Koulibalis and then got rid of them. The project started when you went to the young players and stuff like this. So I'm expecting a challenge then, Ronan, this season because you got top 4 last season and you won 2 trophies, right? Conference League and Club World Cup. The next is to challenge for the league. So if you are 10, 15 points behind the league leaders, he has failed then. That's what I wanted to say.
People, this is going to redirect you to Husam's channel. So go and support that fraud over there, please. LLLL Sam. You know, 4 of them in the Prem. We're back later tonight. We're going to be live after the Carabao Cup games. We're going to be covering so we'll be live after the last game kicks off in the Newcastle Spurs one. Why the fuck they put all the big teams on one night when they could have put a couple on last night is beyond me. These dickheads honestly don't know how to organize TV properly. They're fucking morons. But listen, until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Oh, by the way, if you're watching over on X, thank you. Get yourselves across here to YouTube and make sure you are subscribing and everything else. And we'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.